Hello to all my storybook sisters. This is Shelly here. This is my dreadful laundry pile that I've been putting off for days and days. I hate laundry. I love laundry. It's so fun. I'm choosing to do laundry right now. And I gotta share June's amazing birth, and I was just creeping on our YouTube site, which is really motivating and inspiring, and we have almost 1,000 views. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm super excited about that. So, and it seems what my storybook sisters are liking is our birth stories. So I do have another birth story because I do have 3 children and I have this massive heaping pile of laundry to fold. So what can I do while I'm folding laundry but tell you my birth story about Mr. Jackie Boy. So how do we tell Jackie Boy's birth story? Jackie Boy, my sweet little baby boy, who Rex named him Jack because he wanted to name Milo Jack, and I said, no, he's not a Jack, he is a Milo, and I got that. So join me in folding some laundry because that's what we're doing. So let's talk about Mr. Jack's birth. So Mr. Jack's birth, it was my 3rd baby. I had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, so I was really busy, and I feel like I just didn't really have too much time to focus on like being pregnant or care for myself because I was really busy taking care of a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. And when I was pregnant with Jackus, I had like the worst freaking asthma ever, and I could barely breathe. I was always constantly like dying and choking on my own breath. So that was rough, but I was like really allergic to my poor doggies, and I kind of had to like cut ties from them. I had to make them like sleep downstairs in the basement because I couldn't breathe. It's like, I love you, dogs. So Mr. Jack, it was my 3rd pregnancy. My belly was huge. It was already stretched out. It was one of those like Groundhog Day pregnancies. If you don't know what that means like every day just repeats itself. I'd wake up in bed and my belly was just huge, and it just felt like it was never ending. But it was. It just is what it was. Like, I don't know, I just was not the biggest fan of being that pregnant again. Like, for me, I'm not one of those magical, fluffy, smiley, like, I'm pregnant and I love it. I don't love being pregnant. Like, I like the feeling of when my baby kicks, but being pregnant kind of super sucks. And if you're pregnant, maybe you love it and it's wonderful for you. And maybe for you it sucks too, but you can get through it because guess what? Jackie Boy's almost 3. His birthday's creeping up. Okay, so with Mr. Jack, it was so weird because I did start getting those like Braxton Hicks contractions, the ones that would be really, really tight, and then they would loosen up and you would breathe through them. And I literally had kind of like 3 different episodes where I thought I was having him, but I wasn't. And it was so funny because I had this fear that I was not going to know when I was going to go into labor, and I had this fear that I was going to let people down. And it was so weird, and I don't know why I had that at all. Like, what? Like, my sisters, I would never like be disappointed that like if you came over to my house and I wasn't in labor, it would be okay. It was just weird fears. We have these weird self-hindering thoughts, and I had those a lot when I was pregnant because my body wasn't mine. It was just out of control and crazy. So Mr. Jackie Boy, like I said, I had kind of like 3 false starts, and when the real deal actually came to the making, that night at dinner, I think I was just feeling like really crappy and gross, and I was like, bleh. I think I just really wanted to go to bed that night, but I didn't because my husband and I were on a Sopranos binger. If you didn't watch the Sopranos from the 90s, it's like this ridiculous gangster mobster show that just like sucked me up inside of it, and I got creeped out, so I stayed up late watching that, and then I think I went to bed, and we went to bed and my husband fell asleep, and I woke up at, it was probably like, I don't know, 11 or midnight, in the middle of the night. I just remember I just kept feeling so uncomfortable, and I was like, God, these stupid Braxton Hicks. And then it just started getting like really painful. And the house we lived in had black mold in the bathtub, which is disgusting. And the world's smallest bathtub, and I was this huge pregnant woman, like ginormously pregnant woman, and with this huge pregnant belly, and I'm trying to fit in this tiniest bathtub. And if you know of if you have had a baby before or have been pregnant, you just can't really close your legs, and my legs like were like being squished. I was like, oh, and I was filling up the water, and I remember Rex like woke up and was like, are you okay in here? And I was just like, I'm fine, go back to bed, go. And he like wouldn't leave me alone. He was like, you're acting really weird, kind of how you act like when you're gonna have a baby. I was like, I'm not gonna have him, I'm just feeling weird. So yeah, I just continued to be super weird in the bathroom, and I kept thinking, maybe I am in labor. And then it was like, it kept getting like later, and it was like 12:30, and I was like, oh, I'm just feeling really bad. And I kept thinking I just really wanted to call my sister, but I didn't want to let her down, either of them. I didn't want to like let them down, because my sister Amy Beth was also super pregnant with Isla Jane. So I was 10 months, so she was 6 months, and it was the middle of the night. I didn't want to wake my sleeping pregnant sister. And lo and behold, like, I hear Rex on the phone, and he called our midwife, and he was like, I don't know, she's making really weird sounds. And I was like starting to make my crazy like birthing sounds, and I was kind of like in denial that I was really in labor. But I was like really in labor. But it was so weird, because I've had 3 babies, and I thought that I would be like a pro by then. Like I would just know when I was going to be in labor, and I was just going to know what to do. And I didn't. It was literally like a new experience, like every time. Like with Jack's birth was just so harmonious and beautiful, and everything was just really smooth. Like June's birth was crazy and emotional, and Milo's was emotional and uplifting, and it was great. And Jack's birth was just, he was my 3rd baby, and it was just like, I didn't know what I was doing, but then I did, and my body knew what I was doing. And he was a home birth, so a home birth, I failed to mention that he was a home birth. So my first birth was a C-section. My second birth was the VBAC at home. I had a little bit of a scare and almost had to go to the hospital, but my body whoop did it, and then I had my baby at home. And then 2 years later, Mr. Jack comes, and where were we? In the bathtub. I just remember Rex like just kind of being a little panicky. He always does this super panicky thing when I go into labor and have babies. He's a man, and he gets scared. So I just really needed my support of all my lovely ladies in my life, and I just had like a really solid support group, which was my sister Jenny, my sister Amy Beth, actually my friend Kim came to record. I asked her to come, and my lovely amazing doula Elisa, which she's like a second mama to me. She's amazing, and I love her so much. I love you, Lisa. And so they, lo and behold, they all did show up, and I was kind of hindered because with my second home birth, I hemorrhaged pretty bad, and my midwife thought that it was because of the pool and that I shouldn't be in water. And to me, like, I couldn't picture myself not having a baby in water, because there's just something so beautiful and amazing about being in water. But I had to just remove it from my mind, and I did finally get on my tiny tub, because you're allowed to be in the tub while you're laboring, but I wasn't allowed to be in the tub when I was pushing. So I actually got on this bed. This big bed is where Mr. Not full of laundry, of course. This bed was where Mr. Jack was born, on my bed. I kind of look like crap because I told June's video and I kind of cried and I didn't fix my makeup, so I started to look a little crappy. My hair is a little crazy because it's just a rainy day. Should we peek and see how it is? The boys are downstairs actually creeping out on what. Let's peek outside at this beautiful rainy day real quick, because we all need a little rain, a little love. Look at our yard, it's coming together, being landscaped. Looks so lovely. It's a rainy day, and I'm kind of feeling the rainy day, like I'm feeling good about it because it was June's play day, but the rainy days do give you a little bit of the, they make me feel a little hermity, and I want to stay inside, so it's a perfect storytelling days. Okay, so everyone did show up, and I had my amazing support team of amazing women, and I don't know, I just want to say out there that I really recommend for women to have a doula or have a very strong support group of people. Some women have some really amazing husbands who are very supportive and are in tune with their bodies. I'm not one of them. My husband is so sweet, but he gets super scared when I'm in labor. Like, he doesn't want to see me in pain. He doesn't know what to do. He has no experience with birth. Like, even third baby, like, he freezes up and he's like shell shocked. So he was frozen up and all shell shocked. I'm in labor. I'm on my bed. So I'm going to have to continue with a part 2 because my YouTube videos only allow me to do 10-minute videos. So I'm creeping up on 10 minutes. And if you're interested in hearing Jackie's lovely, amazing, harmonious home birth, tune back in. This is Shelly with Storybook Sisters, and I will see you soon. Give us the thumbs up, okay?